What's up, guys? Welcome to the ChungaBunga podcast. I got some new voices here. Well, my voice is Ish, but I got some new voices for you. I got Cody.
Hey, what's up? It's me, Cody.
And I got Chris.
Hello, hello.
So these are going to be the new members of the ChungaBunga podcast. Our old members, unfortunately, had to take a leave, but we're still going to bring you the nice, wonderful content that you guys have enjoyed. So I'm going to start off by saying, hey, Chris, how about you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, my name is Chris. I'm a game enthusiast who primarily enjoys what most people would consider to be bad games. A primary example of which would be Destiny 2, which I will probably be the only person ever on this podcast to openly admit that I love that game.
That sounds terrible. All right, so Cody, how about you give us a little bit about yourself?
Oh, I mean, same for me. Destiny 2 is a terrible game. Okay. But no, I like FPS games. I play a lot of World of Warcraft. Been playing that since like the beginning. Play RPGs, Dark Souls, a lot of those action roguelike games. Yeah.
That's cool, man. So we got a bunch of stuff today. There's been a lot of streams and a lot of videos going on about this and that in the gaming community. But we're going to start off light. Let's start with the PS5 reveal that we had. Who wants to start talking about that?
Well, no, I mean, it's open to discussion. It looks cool. It looks like the newest invention from Kaiba Corp,
Dude, the memes are so good. They keep on coming. They don't stop, and I love it.
I mean, we don't have a price yet, right?
No, I haven't seen a price yet. I've seen some placeholder prices at like $600 or $700 though.
Well, yeah, I mean, everything except the looks good about it.
Definitely.
I mean, it looks like a glorified router or a poorly developed Destiny 2 helmet.
Yeah.
I would assume the price that you saw might be the one that has like disc capability, and then the cheaper one would be the digital only.
That's right, yeah, because it's got the two versions. See, what I thought when I saw those prices, I thought it was like for the whole bundle. You know how they showed at the end of that video, where it's like you get the console, you get another controller, you get the headset, and the media player or the media remote.
Oh, the headset is actually not included with the console.
Okay.
Those are like extra add-ons for it. Oh,
okay. Well, I hope they're not super expensive because it looks super expensive.
The controllers will be especially.
Speculation. I'm gonna say it's gonna be around what the other consoles kind of released at, like $499. I don't see them going above 600.
Yeah, same. Just because I was hearing that they don't mind taking a loss on the console because they know the digital sales are just gonna go straight through the roof and just make up for it.
Yeah, I heard the same.
Yeah.
No, I'm excited. The peripherals look good. At least the peripherals match, I mean,
yeah.
The white aesthetic. Nobody likes the white aesthetic. No one ever likes the white aesthetic,
Yeah. That's why I was like, that's weird. White after like 3 dark black consoles.
Yeah, but no, the cool part is like all the launch titles that we saw about.
Oh, no doubt.
On the stream.
Yeah, that's
like one of my favorites probably coming out is going to be the new Spider-Man Miles Morales, because my kid, 5 years old, he loves Spider-Man Miles Morales. Oh my goodness.
Well,
I've probably watched Into the Spider-Verse probably 20 plus times now.
Dude, I bet it's a good movie. Like, my kid's the same way. He likes just Peter Parker Spider-Man right now because he doesn't get it. But he just, it looks like it's going to be a good game regardless. It's going to run off of the same engine that the first Insomniac Spider-Man is running. So it's just going to be bananas, just going around the city and just using Miles Morales as like electricity stuff that he was using in the in the video.
Yeah, it's going to be cool. A different take, Yeah.
It's
going to be awesome.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. But you know what I'm actually really looking forward to?
What?
I'm looking forward into that Ratchet and Clank. Now that
goodness.
No, well, after I saw it, now that I thought about it a little bit more, you know, especially how it uses the PlayStation 5's hard drive that they keep raving about. How it's just loading the new level instantly. Like you just go through that small transition and bam, new level. That was really cool. And I like Ratchet and Clank.
Well, what I saw is some alpha footage of how they're doing that, and what they're actually doing is they're loading parts of the level while the animation is happening for the character to kind of like just show up to the new.
Oh, so it's
you know, like they have an animation, yeah. So like they show up and then they have to do like this, you know, like they fell down and they start standing up. Like they use that time to load whatever assets they need to load.
So it's kind of
really
like
cool.
it's kind of like how like the God of War games were doing it. How like while you were watching something or doing it would like load in the next set. Oh, that's really cool. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, Ratchet and Clank. It looks goofy. It looks like everything you expect from a Ratchet and Clank. It's pretty exciting.
Yeah, I'd be down for that. I saw that there was like a second like alternate Ratchet, and it was a female Ratchet. Yeah. So maybe it might be multiplayer. Who knows? Maybe that's like the thing they're hiding.
Man,
that'd be really fun.
So we were watching the stream, and the Square Enix logo comes up. And I'm like super excited. I'm like, oh, is this a new Final Fantasy game or something? You know?
Yeah, because we were talking about that before. We were talking about the next Final Fantasy game.
Yeah, Project Aetha. Like, what is this? Can you tell me about it?
Dude,
I actually don't remember it much.
I just remember female protag. It looked really cool. As far as like Square Enix stuff, it's on the same bar as like the graphics for the animations, for all the cutscenes, for all the new stuff. It looks beautiful. And honestly, as soon as I get more information about it, I'm going to talk about it.
In terms of presentation, it came off more like a tech demo than anything else. So it's kind of hard to ascertain like what the game's going to be about in any way.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, with superpowers and stuff. That's right. Okay.
Yeah.
But there is only one game that got me excited.
Oh, I know what this is.
Through all the other games, it all comes down to one little cat.
Don't be the fucking cat game. Come on.
In a post-apocalyptic world, looking for its family. Stray. That is going to be
Sherlock Paws, dude.
Yeah, Sherlock Paws.
That is the sleeper game of that entire event.
See, there was a game that came out before this, and I think it might be conceptually the same thing, except with a cat. So there was a game called Murdered Soul Suspect, where you're like a detective, and he actually gets ripped out of his body, so his soul has to figure out how he was murdered. And I feel like a lot of that is going to be in this game, because this cat, right, is just like Detective Cat, right? Am I right to say that?
Actually, it's actually described as a third-person adventure game with fast-paced action sequences.
Fast-paced action sequences?
What? I thought it was a puzzle.
That's what it looked like.
Crime solver or something.
It's gonna have puzzle-solving elements to it, but that's how it's described: a third-person adventure game with fast-paced action sequences.
Third-person adventure game or with fast action sounds like if like you see a cat in the alleyway and there's like two of them fighting. That's what it sounds like. It sounds like two cats scrapping in an alleyway, and one of them's like, Where's the stuff I need?"
That is the sleeper game. That is because it's supposedly going to come out sometime in 2021. That is going to be in my running for game of the year. I can tell just by looking at it.
I don't know. There's a lot of good stuff coming out 2020. Dude, Hitman 3 is coming out 2021. So.
All right. Well, I know you could talk forever about that game because you literally get to play a cat.
You get companions in the game.
The cat is a companion. What the?
All right, but
no, he's the main character.
Okay.
Talk about. There's so much that was going on.
We'll talk about that later.
Just quick fire a few of them, right? Returnal, female protagonist, looked really real, looked pretty, but
yeah, it did.
Didn't look. It looked weird with the movement, from what I remember, right?
Yeah, I'm sure we'll see more about it later, but as it was just kind of like space the game.
It looked real. It looked realistic, but in Returnal, like the facial expressions, it kind of reminded me of like Mass Effect Andromeda almost.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Like not as bad.
They messed that up real bad though.
Yeah. They couldn't even double back on that.
Anyways, like yeah, it looks pretty, but I don't know if I might give it a try. I don't know if I like it though.
Right. I would need to see some gameplay.
So on the stream, we also saw things like Sackboy, A Big Adventure.
Yeah, Sackboy.
So if you know anything about it, it's like Little Big Planet. You know, it even showed off 4-player functionality.
Oh yeah.
Really, if you like Little Big Planet, you're gonna like this game. You know, it's
especially if you have people that want to play it with you.
Yeah, that's gonna be a fun time.
It's a family game.
One game I did want to talk about after Little Big Planet was this fucking Twisted Metal ass Destruction All Stars that's coming out later next year. It's just this gigantic car derby. It's Twisted Metal. If it didn't have that
Twisted Metal 2.0, dude.
If it didn't have that metal aesthetic and there was no freaking ice cream truck with a clown inside of it, it would be this game. It was really dope when we looked at it. You can get out of your car and still destroy other people's cars. It just seems like it was chaos everywhere. You know, when I looked at it, I was like, this could end up being like a competitive like derby game, which is something you know people are missing. What's the other competitive derby game? Fucking
nothing.
Rocket League? That's only derby if you feel like it, you know?
Yeah, and I feel like it, I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
And it harkens back to those good old Twisted Metal feels.
Yeah.
A lot of people are missing.
All right, so we're excited about that game, right? But you know, one game everybody's going to be excited about.
Yeah.
Goodbye Volcano High.
Oh god.
Okay, so this is like almost like an interactive story that deals with like more emotional stuff, and it's like very. I don't want to say furry because you know it's like a weird
furry, dude.
It's like a weird term.
Very furry.
But it's all animal cast, real emotional stuff, things that like happen during your college, high school years. Very drama. You know, if you like that kind of stuff.
That's enough of that.
If you like that kind of stuff, take it.
Our podcast is not kink shame.
So now we have a game that Cody was actually really excited to take a look at, and then almost immediately disappointed. And that was the Oddworld Soulstorm game.
Oh my goodness. I was excited because I saw Abe and it was Oddworld, and then I found out it's basically like a 3D platformer Lemmings. It's like, oh come on.
It at first it looked like Shadow Complex, but then you had like extra people behind you, and I was like, all right, maybe I won't take a look at it. But that's one of the games coming out. If you like Oddworld,
it just seemed like a mobile game.
Yeah, if you like Oddworld, you're gonna pick it up for whatever story, but you know,
Dude, Ghostwire Tokyo. Oh my goodness.
So
that game looks phenomenal.
So Ghostwire Tokyo, it's coming out next year, 2021. That behind that is the mind behind the Evil Within and the Resident Evil games Shinji Mikami. So I'm really looking forward to it because you know it's gonna have that like real like in your face horror, the type of stuff that you're like, man, what's gonna happen next? I'm sweating. Oh my god, kind of like
a lot of jump scares.
And even if it's not jump scares, just a lot of just like atmospheric horror. You know what I mean? Because the Resident Evil series like to have a lot of that like Lovecraftian shit where it's like, oh my god, this like whole thing that could never exist in real life, you know, and it's creepy.
Well, I'm a fan of like all things Japan, right? And this game looks like it brings a lot of the occult aspects of Japan into a video game, and it looks super cool and scary.
Yeah, it looked really cool.
I'm definitely gonna give it a try.
Yeah, definitely.
The part about it is that it's also coming to PC,
so we can all try it, basically.
So we can all play it.
The one thing
I forgot to mention that in the intro that PC Master Race, by the way. So
yeah,
same here.
I'm in between. I'm on your guys' side for now, as long as the PlayStation 5 is still promising. But the thing that I did like about Ghostwire Tokyo, it looked like you might even be able to use VR service with it, because it looked like that's you know, you could just move forward with like your body. But
yeah, it did have that very,
and
in terms of like even the arms moving and the movement, it did seem very realistic. So I could see it possibly having VR support, but I don't think so, considering like some of the action that we saw in the game, if that was actual gameplay.
You'd be surprised. There's a lot of VR games that have a lot of action, like Skyrim or Borderlands. They have a lot of like movement and action while you're playing the game in VR. So
Yeah,
I mean,
but those games weren't developed specifically to be VR games. It's like a console. It's like a game that was developed for console and ported to PC. Like those games were made for console and kind of ported over to be like VR games.
yeah. I mean, but even then, like they capitalized and they really utilized the VR platform when they designed it.
If it's
port
not Sword
over
Art
to-
Online, it's not real VR.
Well, all right. Take it easy.
All right. Enough of that.
Okay.
All right. So like the other one, Jet the Far Shore, something like that, right?
Yes, Jet the Far Shore looked really cool.
I don't know how to feel about that. It looked. I don't understand the point of it. It looked just from the gameplay footage. I guess it's gameplay footage. It was just a rocket traveling through a planet.
So this game comes from the guys that made Sword and Sorcery, the Super Brothers, and they make extremely atmospheric games. Very cool stuff. Very like look at the environment and try to make something out of it type of deal. But it also looked like Journey. And Journey, for those who don't know, it was a game where you had to go through this journey online with somebody else. You go through all these like platforms and puzzles and shit together with somebody else, somebody you don't know at all, like somewhere in the other side of the world. And you'd have to get from point A to point B, and it's just this beautiful, amazing game. If you haven't had a chance to play it, you definitely should. Just remember that you're not going to be playing with your friend. You're going to be playing with some stranger. But I think it looks good. If they move that to like space stuff or like traveling to different planets, I think that would be a really cool concept, really cool game.
I don't have any experience with this studio, but what I will say is, although we didn't see much of the actual like gameplay, the music and the atmosphere gave me a lot of like Christopher Nolan's Interstellar vibes.
Yeah, definitely.
So, I mean, I don't know if they're going for a more cinematic approach to the game, but it did remind me a lot of like the space travel and their interactions on the planet. It just reminded me a lot of that movie. Mm-hmm. And I mean, it's enough to pique my interest and at least make me curious about this game.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we're always interested in space, so you know, it's just another thing to look forward to. Other than that, we had a game that I wish I knew more about because it's coming out later this year.
Hold on. Before that, I think we forgot to mention that Chris here is an out-of-work game developer. That's so right. If you hear him talk about studios, it's because he's probably applied to a lot of them. He's looking for work at a lot of them, you know, stuff like that. But he knows he has some game development knowledge, so we'll probably put that to use.
So anything that he talks about that might sound like that sounds like a smart ass thing, it's because he knows about it. It's because he's down with it.
It will happen from time to time, but primarily I talk from a gamer's standpoint. But yeah, I did go to school for game programming. I have a little bit of experience with like Unreal Engine 4 and Unity, but for the most part, I try to, you know, relate to everyone else and just speak from like the gamer perspective. But every now and then, like the, you know, anime glasses up mode activates, and I kind of just go into it.
Yeah. So you know, we got a professional on our team. So if you guys want to come at us with some stuff, Chris will be the one to answer.
Please don't.
Anyways.
Yeah, he'll grade your homework for you.
Yes. For money. But,
for money, I will.
So, as I was saying, a game coming out later this year. I wish I knew what it was about. Godfall. So, really solid looking game, except like some parts looked like the frames were dropping. I'm not sure if that was the stream we were watching or what it was, but really cool looking hack and slash. You know, it's published by Gearbox, so you know that could go 50-50. Those guys don't always publish the right shit. But it looks really cool, and we haven't had a really good hack and slash for a while. So if this is like some sort of multiplayer hack and slash adventure, I'm really looking forward to it. You know, we saw some cool combos. We saw that cool looking armor. They were talking about some sort of like becoming a god or having god something.
No, for real. The game looks super amazing. Like everything about it looks so good.
Yeah.
Just like what the heck is it about? They're like, we don't know anything about this game. Like there was nothing brought to us.
Right.
There's no narrative for the trailer or anything. So
it's just baller music and cool action.
It just looked like some arena hack and slash game that has no point.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that has me worried about the game was the over-the-top music and the fact that they only showed action. It almost made it seem like the trailer was constructed to either like advertise their like animation style, more of like a tech demo than anything else, or that there's like that's all there is to the game is the action. So it has me a little bit worried, but I'm definitely curious to see if they have anything more to like bring to the table.
Yeah, so now that you say that, or rather that you brought it up, when I was looking at the game, I was like, man, this could be like what was that game? The one that the servers no longer exist, that MOBA. Do you remember what it's called, you guys?
Paragon?
Is it Paragon? Yeah, it's like that.
I think so.
So I'm thinking it might even be that. It might even be like a 5-on-5 3v3.
Like a Smite.
Yeah, kind of like a Smite. So, you know, as soon as we get more info, like I'll bring it up, but I hope it's not a Smite.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Which, side note, there are a couple of studios that have taken the assets of Paragon and completely remaking the game, and one of them comes out on Steam, and I believe in a month or two.
If you miss Paragon...
Oh, that's right, because they gave up all of their assets for free, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And they allow anyone to use them.
What engine was that? Unity, right?
Unreal Engine 4.
Unreal. Right.
Well, if you like Paragon, or if you liked it back then and you want to keep playing it, and you're just like, damn, you guys for doing this to us, check it out. I'll probably put a link to that in the description. Now let's move on. We saw a game that I thought was really cool because I played Hyper Light Drifter, and I like that aesthetic. I played Fury. I like that aesthetic. I like that neon color. I like that in your face.
That Risk of Rain look.
That Risk of Rain in your face. Now that game that we saw was Solar Ash, coming out next year. Really cool, like action, really fast paced, really like a bunch of sparks and stuff going everywhere. Extremely atmospheric. You kind of look like the character from Hyper Light Drifters. That's why I like drew the comparison. But you have this really cool movement style. I don't know why, but it's like there's something about that like skating and sliding through the ground like movement that looks really cool and fluid. We didn't get to see a whole bunch of it. I hope we get to see more soon because we really want to talk about it because I like those types of games. But I don't know. Did you guys think about the game, or did you guys check it out?
To be honest, I don't think I'd play it. It doesn't seem not the kind of game I'd play.
All right.
Maybe not like in terms of combat, but maybe be it the color palette or some similarities in like the art style. But it reminded me a lot of one of my favorite games, Transistor.
Oh yeah, that's a wonderful game. It's a wonderful soundtrack too.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if this game would be able to live up to the soundtrack of Transistor because that was phenomenal.
Yeah.
But definitely reminded me of that game. I'm going to be like, we've seen the movement, we've seen like the animations. Like, I mean, it's a given that at least in terms of like gameplay and combat, the game will like deliver. But I'm really curious to learn about the story of the game.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, definitely, because it definitely left me wanting more. So, you know, I can't wait. I really can't wait.
Well, I mean, a lot of people can't wait for this next one, though, is Hitman 3, dude.
Yes.
Never heard of it.
Never heard of it?
Hitman 3, dude.
Get ready to hear kind of a little bit about it. So, when we were looking at Hitman 3, that's coming out beginning of next year, hold on to your seats.
All right.
But we were looking into it. Graphics, at least from what we saw, awesome. Best graphics that I've seen that whole damn show. 2, all this new futuristic style like buildings that we're looking at, or at least that we looked at there, super cool. It leads me to believe that you're gonna get all these high-tech gadgets for Agent 47. Now, what I really want to talk about too is we haven't had a good Hitman game in many, many years, and I will fight you on that. But this one looks like it's gonna be really cool. You know, like it looks like it's got a lot of new mechanics to kind of like mess with as far as like killing people. Like back in Blood Money, there was millions of ways to do the objectives. So I'm hoping that this is much less linear than the ones that we've had recently, and like kind of like a sandbox adventure how we had in the old games, where it's like, man, I'm gonna kill this dude by putting a grenade inside of his box of donuts and watching them blow up. You know, that's the kind of stuff that I want in this new one, and it looks really cool. You got a little clip of Agent climbing up like this tower in Dubai, really opulent, crazy looking tower. You know, coming up behind these dudes. Something that I'm really looking forward to. It's something that I'm sure a lot of people are looking forward to, and I hope it's good because our luck hasn't been super good on Hitman games as of late. But, you know, January 2021, that's going to be Hitman 3 for you guys.
I'll be interested to see how it turns out.
Yeah, well, I mean, because you haven't played a Hitman game, so this would be awesome. If it's good, it's like an awesome entry for you.
I'll have to wait and see what score you give it in your review.
Oh yeah. Like if it's any good at all, it's gonna be 9 or 10 for sure.
So PlayStation's version of Mario Sunshine, huh?
Oh yeah,
Astro's Playroom.
Okay, so I know a little bit about Astros. That was cool. I like seeing it in its own little video game. So Astros, that is one of the VR games for the PlayStation VR. Super cool, really fun platforming, really like adorable style. So it's kind of like the little Big Planet thing, where it's like this little cute little guys moving around doing this and that and this and that. But this one looked more like it was catered to like people who like Mario. It's like collecting coins and doing this and that. It had the Mario Sunshine backpack. I don't know. I like Astros, and my kid likes Astros, so you know I'm looking forward to it. What about you?
I feel like it'd be up my alley, but
it looks adorable.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm happy you're happy.
Well, we're all
PlayStation
happy.
themed.
Yeah. It doesn't look like it should be a PlayStation 5 game, but I'll take it. Why not?
Well, so all right, done with that though. What was that other one that you were super stoked about with like the very like brownish tones to it?
Oh,
you know,
brownish tone.
Little Devil Inside. That's what it was.
Oh, okay, Little Devil Inside. That was cool, and it's cool because it looks like it could come out of like the studios that made Coraline and Box Trolls. It had that really cool style where it's like this game could have been a movie, and you know what? It still can be a movie, and it looks really cool.
I agree, actually.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
It looks like this nice, long action adventure game. You know, it's got the little funny little comedic moment where it shows this old man kind of in this leisurely position, and then it shows this younger guy who's like surviving the elements. It looked cool. You know, you get your sword, you get your shield. It just looks like a nice classic adventure with this new art style and direction to it, and I'm looking forward to it mainly because of the animation. But if the gameplay itself is awesome, then that'll be the icing on the cake.
Dude, the giant Cheshire cat sold me, man.
Oh yeah, that was dope. Yeah, this thing is gonna be really cool. If not as a game, then hopefully as like a movie. But while I am talking about things that look good, I know we all checked that NBA 2K21, right?
Jesus.
I know we saw how good
I've not played an NBA game,
looked.
like a basketball game, since like backyard basketball.
It's been a while for me.
But-
It's been like it's NBA 2K for me. But that dude on the game looks like the
spot
dude,
on, dude.
from the Pelicans.
Spot on, dude.
That was so cool.
I got to be honest. If I wanted to waste my money, I'd find an OnlyFans account to sign up to.
That's totally fair, and I can understand because 2K has been really notorious with putting up a lot of bullshit. You were telling me
Yeah.
about that.
What I used to joke around when I first started going to school that when I made my first game, I would sell real estate in the game for ads, and I would have video ads in the game or pop-up ads. Now, granted, I took it a step further in saying that people could pay to remove the ads from the game, but I mean, they ripped me off. They added the in-game ads that you cannot skip. That's insane. I was joking.
You heard it here first.
That's crazy.
ChungaBunga podcast. You motherfuckers 2K stole Chris's idea. It's a bad idea, but you stole it anyways. Basically,
All right. Done with them, dude. Done with them.
I want to talk about 2K one more time, just because they ruined those damn wrestling games, and I'm super mad about it, dude.
The UFC games, so many bugs with them and stuff.
That too, but the WWE games, they fucked them up. How dare they? They fired they fired the company that used to be famous for making those games, and they had like their own designers come in and try to fix it out. It was fucked up. I'll talk about it some other time.
All right, but that Bug Snacks game, how about that?
Okay, so
this
year, this console launch is the console launch of adorable, cutesy ass games, and I don't blame them with the rising popularity of like Animal Crossing for PlayStation to make their own version of Animal Crossing. It was cute. I saw that strawberry getting eaten. It turned into that dude's arm. I'm super in. I'm super curious. Why did it turn into that guy's arm?
Early fries seal, dude.
Yeah.
All right.
It seemed like a less sophisticated Spore, if anyone remembers the game Spore.
I wanted to say that too, but Spore is way too crazy to compare to anything.
So, yeah, I agree with that. But really, the number one game of the year, all right, is going to be this game, dude. The game that I was so stoked to freaking see.
So this game,
the Demon's Souls remake.
This game, when Cody and I were watching the stream, we just fucking lost it. We lost it so much. We were looking. I was talking about. I was like, oh, dude, is this Elden Ring? What is this? What the hell is it? And then that crazy ass demon dragon showed up, and that crazy splash screen for Demon Souls. I was like,
dude, when we saw the Tower Knight's shield and leg armor go down, we started to freak out a little bit.
Yeah,
and then when we saw the splash screen, like you said, dude, we got wild. Yeah,
because we were so out as soon as like the mountains showed up, and then like the dude, like the revenant looking dude showed up, and we were like, eh. And then I saw the like knight's armor from like part 2 or something. I was like, oh shit, I know that armor. You know, there was so much about that was really cool. You know, for people like I guess me, because I only played a little bit of Demon Souls and I got super upset and threw my controller.
You know what's cool is they actually recreated the original Demon Souls intro. What not intro? Like advertisement. What do you trailer?
Trailer. Okay,
they recreated the trailer with the new stuff.
With the new
and
graphics.
It looks so good.
It's really cool. If you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. Demon Souls. It's gonna be a remake. Date that it comes out still to be determined, but to keep your guys' hopes high. To keep your hopes high.
Even if it's just remade with the Dark Souls 3 engine, nothing new other than that, I'd be stoked.
Yeah, without a doubt. The Dark Souls 3 engine is dope, and it brings for a fun game. The network isn't always dope, but the game is cool, and the engine is cool.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, taking like 15 minutes to match each other with the same password is kind of monka, but okay.
Who knows? Maybe it'll be my first one, because I think each of you have actually bought me a Dark Souls game,
yes,
and I never really got around to playing it.
thank you
But
for
who
that.
knows?
Alright, you'll play this with us.
For sure.
Will there be multiplayer in this game?
100% there will be
Of course,
multiplayer in
yeah.
this game.
Yeah, that's a lot of the appeal behind it, is like invading other people or teaming up.
So if you're like, Demon Souls was too hard when I played it before, I don't want to play this, it's probably not going to be as hard. If not, it might be even harder. Who knows? But I will tell you that this will be a quality release because it is being developed by Blue Point Games. If you don't know who those guys are, they're the guys who remade the Shadow of the Colossus game and who made the Nathan Drake collection, which is the best way to play Uncharted. If you love Uncharted, if you like games that have a huge, wonderful story to tell, play those Uncharted games. That shit's tight. And you play the Nathan Drake collection. As far as Dark Soul or Demon Souls, my bad. It's a wonderful game, man. The franchise is really cool. I started with the Demon Souls game, got mad, played Dark Souls because my friend Joe was like, "Hey, you should play this game. It's really hard," and I did, and I got super pissed. But I ended up beating it. Is Part 1, Part 2 came out, super hype.
Yeah.
Part 3 came out, blew my load. They're just wonderful games.
You actually got me into Dark Souls. I never played Demon Souls, right?
Right.
And then we played Dark Souls, and then Dark Souls 2 came out. We played that. I got my wife into it a little bit, and then she kind of rage quit on me after a little while.
But it is
she didn't want to play Dark Souls 3 with me, but
oh.
Yeah.
No.
It was fun.
It is a game for the whole family, though. I'll tell you.
A game for the whole family.
Yeah. But while I'm here, while we're talking about FromSoft, while we're talking about Souls, what we didn't see, and what I wish we will see in the future, is Bloodborne Remastered.
Oh, yeah.
Because Bloodborne is the dopest of all of those games.
For PC, though. For PC.
Yes. Hopefully it gets a remaster for PC.
Yeah.
Because 1, it's the dopest out of all of them. 2, it's the coolest story. 3, it's got like the dopest combat. 4 is Bloodborne. PC players didn't get it, and they deserve it. So I want to hear more about that ASAP.
Yeah, you know what's really funny is they also left out The Last of Us 2.
Which is crazy, because it comes out next week.
Do we know that? Because they're delaying it, right?
They delayed it already.
Okay.
So they delayed it already, and it's coming out next week. They don't want to talk about it.
They're gonna port it to the 5 as well.
Maybe that's a good point.
Well, the PlayStation 5 will have complete backwards compatibility with all PS4 games, but I wouldn't be surprised if it
reduce quality though.
If they did like a fucking Breath of the Wild with it, how they had Breath of the Wild on the Wii U and add on the Switch.
I could see them doing that. It would sell.
Dude, all right.
Yeah.
What was that one game where like you like every time you die you just teleport back to like either a save point or the beginning or something like that?
Every game ever.
And like the entire time. No, it's like that's the whole shtick, right? Like you're like the whole thing is like you're self-aware. Every time you die, you're gonna teleport back. Death loop, right?
It was almost like this Quentin Tarantino ass looking game. Yeah, that looked cool. It looked like it came like you play 2 different characters and you get 2 different perspectives as you
was
like
that
going
Bethesda?
Through games.
It's published by Bethesda.
Yeah,
because it reminded me of shoot, I always forget the name of that game.
We don't have to worry about it being
Dishonored.
like 76.
Yeah, it had a lot of the elements of Dishonored, for sure, when we were looking into it. I mean, I'm down for that. I'm down for something like with more shooties. It kind of looked like it could be like a story-based, what like Super Hot was not. But
I remember what you said while we were watching the stream is like, it would be cool if one of these games, they made another player be be the boss. And I thought like that'd be so cool
Right.
if like it was a PvP kind of thing where like one player was the guy trying to get to the end of the level and the other person was the sniper trying to kill the guy, you know?
See, and
That'd be so cool.
Okay, see, I remember when I said that too. I remember when I said that because I was like, man, I wish there was a game that ever came out that was like that. And I could not have been even more wrong to say that because there is a game that's like that.
Spy Party.
It's not Spy Party, but that's awesome. No, it's actually, there's a game where it's a 4-player game. It's a dungeon crawler. And at the end of your dungeon crawl, one person is the boss fighting the last person that survived, right? So everybody who died is the boss, and then the last person who survived the dungeon is the hero. He gets to, fight the boss. That game's called Crawl, and I wish that game had online support, but I was super wrong to say that. And if that game gets online support, let's play that because that's a super cool concept.
Dude, Resident Evil 8.
Resident Evil 8.
Who's excited?
I'm excited because I played Resident Evil 7. And fucking what a story that was, Resident Evil 7. I'll let Chris talk about Resident Evil stuff for a second. Then I'll start just coming in with all this Resident Evil 7 shit.
Well, I don't really remember playing much Resident Evil.
Yeah, to be honest, I never really played that many Resident Evil games.
What was the last one you remember?
Oh, jeez. I think I played a little bit of Resident Evil 5.
Resident Evil 2 for me.
Dude, Resident Evil 5. All I want to remember is Chris punching those boulders. Just Just the buffest dude.
But like I could never really get into them that much, but it wasn't until I saw the trailer for Resident Evil 7 that I really got interested in not only that game but the franchise overall. But at the time I was still in school, so I never really had a chance to play it. But my boy Ish here just gifted me the game.
Yes.
And now I can play that, and it only heightens my excitement for Resident Evil 8 because, I mean, from what we saw, it's going to be far darker and more twisted than Resident Evil 7, and I'm all for that. Like, break the boundaries. Don't worry about disturbing or upsetting people. Like, I want to be emotionally traumatized by playing this game.
And I think you will, just because a lot of the stuff from Part 8 is the continuation of Part 7. So, not to spoil the game for you, and, like, it's too much, you know what I mean? But it is an older game now, so, you know, what do you want me to do? So, Resident Evil 8 is back full force after the events of what happened to the main character in Part 7. Basically, at the end of the trailer, you see Chris Redfield, who is now a BSSA agent. If you know anything about the story of Resident Evil, the BSSA people were created after that whole crazy stuff that happened with Raccoon City when they blew up Raccoon City because the government didn't want to show people that they were like connected with the old Umbrella. And there's now a new Umbrella called Umbrella Blue, who's just like all these trusted scientists that were like trying to like stray away from the old Umbrella stuff, like the T virus, G virus, all that other stuff. I hope it deals with like the transition from like Raccoon City to there a little bit more. Like if you haven't played Resident Evil Revelations or stuff like that, or you don't know about the Terra Grigia project or none of that stuff, I hope there's like some filler in this new game to get you there, because I know they have a lot of really good notes and stuff on computers and stuff just to look. I'm looking forward more to that because the Resident Evil 7 story was cool, really nice, refreshing. The gameplay was cool, really cool, refreshing. Had that VR mode you could play. So I'm hoping they do the same thing with Resident Evil 8. What we saw was cool. Looked like this nice old world village. They even got us with the fucking village at the end of the trailer.